November 23rd, Monday. And hey, there's a lot of stuff that's breaking this morning that is interesting. And some of it is there's just too much to sort of get into it all. So basically, as always, we'll have some links in the description end if you have a mind to or an inclination to. And I think there's one called about the Great Reset. And this is really informative. And for everybody who has given me a tin hat, and I have a whole collection with them of tin hats. And for all those people who have been too kind and didn't want to give me a tin hat and sort of politely listened. And to those who understand what's going on, I'm sure you'll find that 40-minute clip really interesting and informative. And I suppose, so I put it in the top and on the bottom because it's that important to call it. It's got the Great Reset in the link. There's a few other words there as well. And like I say, it's just so important. If you don't watch anything, do watch that one. Because this stuff is happening whether we want to believe it or not, sort of thing. So that I found really intriguing. It will give you some groundwork if you're just, because I know a lot of people say it's all conspiracy theory. It's on Time magazine now, so New York Times. Hey, the talking heads and the propaganda machine is now starting to openly talk about this. And I think Trudeau's video that was released was one of the first ones. So anybody in Canada who thinks we're not up to here in this damn thing, watch Trudeau's video. It's sort of crazy. And speaking about being up to here, the lockdowns continue. In Toronto and the Pickering area, I think they're now locked. All malls, everything is locked down to December 20th. Think about that. They're in lockdown until December 20th. Goodbye small business. Although they're cracking out some rent for the small business, help them with their rent. But that's besides the point. It's intriguing and it's crazy. I think it's crazy, really. And in some places, I was thinking early this morning, gosh, that must have been 4 o'clock. I was wondering, are there so many governors, premiers, mayors, and bureaucrats? Are there that many people who are just stupid? Or does somebody have these guys by the short hairs? And these guys and gals, or does somebody, are they making the talking head type of money to do this? Because you wonder why. Why would people abandon their countries and their citizens? Why? And it's a good question. They all can't be psychopathic despots, can they? Or could they? It's hard to say. Because in some areas with the lockdowns, like in California, for instance, they want to have a curfew at 10 o'clock. A curfew. They want to, around the planet, they want to tell you how many people you can have in your house. Think about that. When you look at the death rates and the people who are really succumbing to this, those statistics don't bear this out. So there's something at play here, something really at play here. Some places you can go shopping for only essential things. Some places garden seeds are not, you can't buy garden seeds. Now who's the twit that put that out? Some places vitamins aren't considered essential product. You can go and you can buy this, but you can't buy a shirt. You can buy this, but you can't, if you need a pair of shoes, you can't buy shoes. Well, you can. You go on Amazon and buy your shoes. Go online. But it's crazy. If you're in a store, you can walk down this aisle to buy stuff, everything else is taped off. Why? You're there anyway. It does not make sense. It's nonsense. Think about that. Think about that. And if you come up with a great solution, I'm sure interested. I mean, because this is not making sense. There's not making sense. So watch this Great Reset, that big clip on the top and the one on the bottom. 40 minutes will explain that, if in a sense. I'm still not sure why these people are doing that. Unless, like Trudeau, they have all bought into this global plan. And that in itself is sort of scary. And sort of crazy. So another thing, we're all watching this U.S. election recount, and I see this morning Wall Street, and of course the mainstream media has been calling for it a long time that Trump should sort of pack it in and admit that he's lost the election. They're not paying any attention to the discrepancies that are appearing. That doesn't seem to be a problem. Forget that. Everything was okay. Trust us. And I think that is another thing that is very, very alarming. Why there's no investigations going on. I see now Sidney Powell has been distanced herself from the Trump team, or has been, and I'm not sure how that works. I've got a link to the Deep State with Farmer Jones, Swamp Rising, and he has a lot of links as well. That's why I only put a few on mine, because he's got a ton of them and you can follow through. And as his background is law, he explains it and gives you some inside information that makes it more understandable. But it's incredible. So when looking at Dominion voting systems, I thought, okay, how is that used in Canada? And of course, so I've got some links that are the Dominion and Canada. And got to bear in mind, some of this is by Wikipedia. We all know who sort of edits that. So Wikipedia is by no means the truth in the sky sort of thing. But it gives you some idea, maybe give some hint of where else to sort of look. Now, Elections Canada indicate on a tweet that they do not use this system. In Canada, it's the old-fashioned paper ballot. You mark your X and they're all counted with scrutineers from all parties sort of there at the count. And it's done old school, and basically if you're a registered voter, you get a card in the mail. You take your card down to the polling station, along with picture ID. They check you all through. They ask you a couple quick questions and give you a ballot. You go vote. You bring it back. They tear off an end. You put it in the box. They cover it up, and you're on your way. And so on the surface, it seems that it's old school. It's slower, but it should get an authentic count. Can someone come in? What if you don't have a voter card? Well, if you don't have a voter card, you have to take 3 pieces of ID with your address and proof that you're actually a citizen living in the area. Could that be bamboozled? Well, of course it could. People make false driver's licenses and passports and all that sort of stuff. But you wouldn't think that a whole ton of people would do that. But it's possible to sort of phony baloney that. See, I figure that everybody should vote who's of legal age, but you should be registered, and there should be more of a parameter put on that. And the onus is on people to get registered. Of course, parties don't like that because they want everybody to vote. They figure that if you make everybody jump through too many hoops to be able to get to vote, that people won't vote. And you only get the serious thinking people. And if you get serious thinking people, the results might be different than if you get a bunch of non-thinkers who just voting for whatever the color of somebody's socks. You get a different result. You know what I mean. So anyway, check those out. There's another article by Keean Bexte from Rebel News on the Deep State and Dominion. It's a short one. He's sort of digging and following around. You got to remember, in Toronto, they're in a lockdown, so they're watching where you're going, what you're doing. And, yeah, the craziness continues. The craziness continues. So it'd be interesting, for you to watch The Great Reset, the conspiracy theory that is no longer a theory. It is a big conspiracy. And it's interesting, because I've been collecting tin hats since I was in grade 6. People thinking I was an idiot. It's been going on longer than that. But it's been going on for decades, slowly inching its way to now where they're using this Wuhan waltz as a great way to sort of slip it in. Because we're all scared we're going to die. Well, I'm not, but a lot of people. I was at the post office this morning to check my mail. And people are lined up. There must have been 10 people lined up outside. And of course, they're all distancing. You get too close, somebody's pointing it out. So I whip to the end of the line and I see a lot of people have packages. Some people are shaking keys. They're just going into the mailbox section. And they're all masked up. And I didn't have a mask, but I figured they're all safe because they've got their masks on. And so I decided to go around and just go into the mailbox area. There's nobody there. Some lady got the same idea about the same time, so I waited for her to come out, and she wasn't coming out. She's reading her mail in there, so what the hell, she's got a mask. I went in to get my mail. And she said, it's sort of crazy waiting in line to come check your mailbox. I said, yeah, it's sort of stupid, but that's just my opinion. But think about it, and there's no need for that. There's really no need for that. But, go figure. We're a funny bunch. Well, check out those links, and there's a ton of more breaking news I want to go check on and do some more research on this Dominion in Canada and Dominion voting systems in Canada. Not to confuse with the Dominion of Canada, but Dominion voting systems. Lord Brown, B-R-O-W-N-E, is also connected with these clowns. There's a connection there somehow. He used to be VP of BP Petroleum, or president of BP Petroleum, and he actually went down to Venezuela as the BP representative down there. And just think what oil people do when they want the oil. So if you didn't like what the leader was doing with the oil resources, maybe you want a leader in charge who you can deal with. That's happened around the world. Look at the Middle East. We spent trillions of dollars and lost lives and killed a lot of people just to try to get that control of that. A lot of the people who are on climate change kicks right now, their families made their fortunes there. That's that's a whole other story. But so this Dominion thing is intriguing, and Keean has some breaking news on that as well. The deep state and Dominion. Apparently, I'll let him explain it here. Take care. Bye for now.